Is it possible that we have misunderstood or misinterpreted our parents' actions or inactions, what they said or what they didn't say? Oftentimes, we are very critical of our parents. But the truth of the matter is, it's a possibility that we may have gotten things wrong. My good friend Nathaniel McGuire always says that children are great observers, but horrible interpreters. They're great at observing what is happening. They can see, they can tell you everything that's happening, what's not happening, what's being said, what's not being said, the tension in the room. But oftentimes, they don't have what is needed to interpret it in the right way. I remember, this old saying that people would say, right? They would say, you know what? If I knew then what I know now, I said, man, I'll be doing this. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have made that mistake. I would have took advantage of that opportunity. And you say, why is all that important? Because we have to learn to look at what our parents did not do, what they said, what they did not see, what we observed, not from a child's perspective, but when we get older, we need to go back and look at that situation from an adult's perspective. And I promise you, it'll change the way you see things. Matter of fact, it'll change the way you see them. I never forget, had a cousin who had 5 kids, really struggling, barely able to put food on the table. One of her children, for Christmas, they didn't get a whole lot, right? It was a Christmas, they didn't get a whole lot. The fact that they got something, what was huge, but one of her kids started crying. It's like, I don't understand. I didn't get enough presents. I didn't get enough presents for Christmas. You're like, what? She was like, he said, yeah, my friends got this, my other cousins got this, but I didn't get a lot of presents. And he was crying, and he felt like his mom had failed him for Christmas, right? Now, as a child, it makes sense, right? That as a child, all you can see is these people around you, your cousins or friends, got a lot of gifts and you didn't. And it makes sense that the way you observed that and interpret it meant that something was wrong with your mom. She didn't do what she needed to do. Maybe she didn't like you, whatever that interpretation was, right? But when that cousin's son got older and he was able to look back, he recognized, wow, my mom did what she could. And the fact that I got anything was a blessing. When I realized how much money she really made, that she didn't make anything. That she was in poverty, but she sacrificed to do what she needed to do to give me the little bit I had. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying that sometimes because we have misunderstood, misinterpreted how our parents treated us, what they did, what they said, and maybe you thought they were hard. Maybe you thought that they were, they should have been there more. They should have been more supportive. They should have given you more. Perhaps you're an adult still interpreting what happened as a child. I'm gonna invite you to take the time in this season. We're getting ready to come to the end of 2022. And I'm inviting you to look back at what your parents did, what they said, how they acted. And look at it from an adult's perspective, knowing, you know what? My parents could have been dealing with mental health issues. My parents could have been dealing with the weight of the world. My parents could have been dealing with financial issues. They could have been dealing with their own relationship issues. They could have been fighting their own demons. That they had stuff going on with them that as a kid, it doesn't make sense. And as a kid, you think the world should revolve around you. But as an adult, you recognize, man, my mom, my dad might have had some issues. And if I look at this from their perspective, that they never had somebody who taught them how to be a mother, how to be a father, how to be present, how to deal with my mess when I was a kid. The reality is maybe you'll have a little more compassion, a little more leniency. Maybe you'll reconnect with your parents in a new way. Maybe you'll see them differently. Maybe you'll see the strength, and maybe you'll see the sacrifice. Maybe you'll see that they loved you and they did the best that they could. Listen, I know this because that's what happened to my father and I was able to go back and see, who he really was, and he was just a human who I had put on a pedestal, and I wanted more than what he could really give. And so I want to share with you, go get my book, Some Things Are Worth Fighting For. I believe it'll be a blessing to you if you're struggling with, trying to understand your parents and what they did and did not do. I want you to know at the end of the day, no good parent hates their children. Every good parent loves their child, but sometimes they're doing the best that they could. And will you learn to give them credit? Learn to give them credit for what they did do. Listen, I'm gonna be talking about how we interpret what our parents did all week, but I want you to know I'm praying for you. And maybe your relationship with your parents is something you need to fight for. Even if it's something where your parents have already passed, maybe you need to go back and look at what happened from a different perspective. God bless you.